Hello all, welcome to a demo session on cloud computing. In this session, we'll be looking at how to create a virtual private cloud on AWS. And after creating this VPC, we'll be launching our EC2 instance on the VPC. We'll also configure and run a web server on our EC2 instance. So now let's get into the demo. The infrastructure that we are going to provision on the cloud is as follows. We'll be creating a VPC with the CIDR block 10.0.0.0/16, and this VPC will span across two availability zones in a region. So that is US East 1A, and availability zone 2 is US East 1B. And in availability zone 1, we'll be creating a public subnet, and that's the CIDR for the public subnet 1, that's 10.0.0.0/24. And we'll also be provisioning a private subnet, that's 10.0.1.0/24. That's the CIDR for this private subnet 1. After that, we'll add more subnets. We'll be adding a public subnet 2 in availability zone 2 with the CIDR block 10.0.2.0/24, and we'll also provision a private subnet 2 on the availability zone 2, that is with the CIDR 10.0.3.0/24, and we'll also have a NAT gateway and an internet gateway provision for access to the internet from our public subnets. So this is what we are going to launch. We'll also be creating security groups. We'll be creating route tables. We'll be associating route tables with these subnets. And finally, we'll be launching our web server. And this web server is nothing but an EC2 instance that's provisioned on the public subnet 2. And we'll be having our HTTPD configured on this EC2 instance, which is our web server. So this is going to be a demo. Let's straight away get into the demo now. So we'll search for VPC, the console, and we'll select VPC. So we are going to create our VPC now. So we'll select this option, create VPC. And under create VPC, we'll go with the VPC settings. So VPC and more is selected. We'll leave it like that. And for the project, let me rename the project as lab. And the IPv4 CIDR block is 10.0.0.0/16, and no IPv6 CIDR block is selected, so that option we are going to select. Tenancy is default, and number of availability zones we'll select it as 1, and number of public subnets as 1, number of private subnets as 1. So this is what we are going to select, and now we have to enter the CIDR blocks for our public and private subnets. So for the public subnet, the CIDR block is 10.0.0.0/24, and for the private subnet, it is 10.0.1.0/24. So these CIDR blocks I've already shown you on the PPT. So I'm just configuring two subnets on availability zone 1, that is US East 1A, and this is for the public subnet and this is for the private subnet. So NAT gateway, we'll select that as zonal, and NAT gateway, that is 1 in 1 AZ. So we'll just select 1 in 1 AZ, and VPC endpoints is none, and we'll let the DNS options to be the default. So after we have entered these details, we can take a look at the preview to the right. So preview gives us what we have created. So lab VPC contains two subnets. One is the public subnet and private subnet, both provisioned on the availability zone US East 1A, and these subnets are linked to two route tables. One is the public route table by name lab RTP public, and another one is the private route table associated with the private subnet. And we have the route tables associated with the internet gateway. So internet gateway is used by public subnets, machines in the public subnet, to get access to the internet. Likewise, NAT gateway are used by machines in the private subnet to access the internet. So these are the two components associated with the subnets. Our preview is fine, so let's click on create VPC. So this is going to take some time for creation. So here our VPC is getting created. So create NAT gateway. So we'll wait for NAT gateways to activate. Yeah, now the VPC is created. Now what we'll do is we'll click on view VPC. We'll view our VPC. So we can see our VPC is created. We have our main route table created. Our main network access control is created. And our VPC has got the CIDR 10.0.0.0/16. So everything is created. Now let's take a look at the subnets, whether the subnets are created. And right now we are not able to see our subnets. So what we have to do is we need to refresh first. So here is a public subnet on US East 1A, that is the availability zone. Our subnet is created, and this is a private subnet provisioned on the same availability zone US East 1A. So two subnets are created, and we can also take a look at the route tables. What are those route tables created? So we have our public route table. This is lab RTB public. This is the route table associated with our public subnet. So in the public subnet, we have the IP for our internet gateway. So internet gateway is used by the machines in the public subnet to access the internet. And we also have our VPC CIDR given here, which is used for local communication. So our public route table. So this is the public route table associated with our public subnet 1. So what are the route tables we have? We also have our route table for our private subnet. So this route table is lab RTB private 1 US East 1A. So what this route table has is the NAT gateway, the IP for our NAT gateway, and also the VPC CIDR block for local communication. So what is the use of NAT gateway is the machines in the private subnet, if they want to access the internet, then they will go through the NAT gateway, the network address translation gateway. So this route table is associated with our private subnet 1. So we have two route tables and two subnets. So one is the public subnet 1 associated with lab RTB public route table, and there's another subnet, that's the private subnet associated with the lab RTB private 1 US East 1A route table. So two subnets associated with two route tables. Now what we'll do is we'll create two more subnets as shown in the slide. We have created public subnet 1 and private subnet 1. Let's create public subnet 2 and private subnet 2. So for this we'll go to subnets, and then we'll start creating our subnet. Create subnet, and we are going to provision the subnet on the lab VPC which we have created. And subnet settings, let me give the name for this subnet as lab public subnet. Lab subnet public 2. So this is the public subnet provisioned on availability zone 2. So we'll select US East 1B as the availability zone. And this is our VPC CIDR block, that's 10.0.0.0/16, whereas the IPv4 CIDR block is, this is the CIDR for our public subnet 2, that is 10.0.2.0/24. And these tags are optional. Let's leave it like that. So we are provisioning our public subnet 2. Let's create subnet. So public subnet 2 is created, and we can very well take a look at subnets, and let's refresh this. So you see here our lab subnet public 2, that's our public subnet 2. See, we have already created our first public subnet here. We have associated that with a route table. So now what we'll do is we'll take the route table associated with this subnet and associate that with this public subnet 2. So two public subnets associated with one public route table. So let's do that. So what we are going to do now is go to the route tables, and then we'll take a look at this route table. That is, this is the public route table associated with public subnet 1. And when you go to subnet associations, you can very well see this route table is associated with public subnet 1. Now we need to associate this route table with public subnet 2. For that, we'll edit subnet associations. We'll also select lab subnet public 2. So what we are doing here is we'll have two public subnets associated with this route table, which has the destination for the internet gateway. So let's save associations. So that is done. So we have provisioned three subnets now. We need to provision one more subnet, that is the private subnet 2. So let's click on subnets and go to create subnet, and we'll select our lab VPC. This is where we are going to provision our private subnet 2. And now let us enter the name for a subnet, that is lab subnet private 2. This is our private subnet 2. And availability zone is, this is in US East 1B. So this is in zone 2. And this is the VPC CIDR block. And what is the CIDR block for a subnet is, it's 10.0.3.0/24. So we have given our CIDR for our private subnet 2, and let's create subnet. So we have created 4 subnets as I have shown on the slides. Now let's take a look at this specific subnet, and what are the route tables that are already available. See, we have our private subnet which is associated with the route table. So what is the subnet association here? This private subnet is associated with this route table. This is the private subnet which we created first on AZ1, availability zone 1. Now we have two private subnets. Both these subnets will be associated with this route table. So what is this route table containing? This route table contains the destination IP for our NAT gateway and the IP for local communication. So this route table is for the private subnet. So we'll take our two private subnets and we'll see to that we associate these two subnets to this route table. So we already have one private subnet associated. So let's edit subnet associations. Now select private subnet 2, and now we have two subnets associated with this route table. Save associations. So we have finished completing all our subnets. So if you take a look at our subnets, we have two public subnets and we have two private subnets. All of these subnets are associated with route tables now. So next thing that we have to do is we need to create a security group. A security group is associated with an instance. See, we'll be launching an EC2 instance finally. So we have to define what kind of traffic that is inbound is allowed. And this security group is defined for an instance. So let's now create a security group first. So we go to security groups here, and then we need to click on create security group. So here we have to give some name for a security group. We'll give it as a web security group. So web security group, you can give any name. I'm just giving it as web security group here. And the purpose of the security group is to enable HTTP access for our virtual machines. So enable HTTP access. So we are going to launch an EC2 instance, and then we will map the security group to that instance. And the VPC is lab VPC. And now we have to add an inbound rule. So what we'll do here is we'll add rule. And what we are going to allow is we are going to allow HTTP traffic. So we'll select HTTP, and the source is anywhere IPv4, and description is optional. We'll type the description as permit web requests. So this is what we are going to do, requests. So we have created an inbound rule. So after this, what we'll do is tags are optional. We'll just click on create security group. So security group is created with the name web security group, and we have added an inbound rule wherein we are permitting HTTP traffic. Now what we'll do is we'll launch our EC2 instance. For that, let's go and search for EC2 and select EC2. And what we'll do is we will click on instances, and then we'll click on launch instances, and we have to give some name for our server. So let me give it as web server 1, web server 1, and we have to select our OS image. So we'll leave that as Amazon Linux, and this is the AMI which I am selecting, Amazon Linux 2023 kernel 6.1. An instance type, I'll be selecting that as T2 micro, and key pair name, we'll select that as VOC key. And this is used for having an SSH connection with your EC2 instance later on. And network settings, so here we have to provision this EC2 instance on the VPC we have created. So where is that we are going to provision this instance is on the public subnet 2. So if you have any confusion on this, refer to the slide. I've given the infrastructure diagram, right? Refer to the slide. So let me click on edit, and the VPC is the VPC we have created. And subnet is, it's going to be on public subnet 2. This is where our web server is going to run, and we'll enable automatic assignment of public IP. And here is where we have to map our security groups for this instance. So we have already created, so it's select existing security group, and we'll select our security group, web security group. So this has got that inbound rule, right? So we'll move that. In storage, we'll leave it to the default. And in the advanced detail section, we'll come down, and to the user data, we'll just paste a script. This is just for script for installation of Apache web server and PHP. So we are going to have our web server running on our EC2 instance, and this script is for that. So we'll start our server 2. So after all these things, you can verify, and then finally click on launch instance. So this is going to launch our instance and start our web server on that specific instance, and this instance is provisioned on our VPC and on the public subnet 2 on this VPC that we have created just now. So we have created our instance. Let's take a look at our instances. So we can see now here our web server is running, and the status check is and the status check have passed. Now what we'll do is we'll take a look at the details for our web server. We'll take our public IPv4 address. Let's try and connect to our web server now. Let's connect. So just oh, that's where this is where we can see our web server is running. So we are able to access the page on the web server. So we have finally finished a demonstration on how to create a VPC and create subnets and launch a web server on one of the subnets. So that's it for this demo. I hope you were able to follow this. If you have any questions, you can leave those questions in the comment section below. I'll be answering that. And I'll be catching you up with another demo soon. Take care.